Gregory is the latest General Hospital citizen to get a dire medical diagnosis and decide to keep it a secret from his loved ones. We are still dealing with the consequences of Willow not telling Michael about her cancer until she was at death's door, and we suspect that Curtis's, Donald Turner, regret about having missed watching his daughter grow up is at least partially connected to his own father abandoning him, because Marshal Robert Gossett didn't want Curtis to know he was a diagnosed schizophrenic. Add to that Britt Kelly Thiebaud not revealing her Huntington's disease and Franco's, Roger Howarth, secret brain tumor, and we definitely see a pattern forming. We understand the concept of privacy. We get that Gregory Harrison. Inevitable disintegration might not be any of Alex's, Nancy Lee Grahn business. But what about his sons? Finn, Michael Easton, and Chase, Josh Swickard, might want to spend as much time with Gregory as possible now. Not to mention, start planning for the future while he is still in the position to contribute to making plans and decisions. And we also get that the patient needs some time to process the life-changing news. They must come to terms with it themselves before they are mentally ready to tell others. But that wasn't the case with Willow, Caitlin McMullen, for instance. She had time to deal with her condition. She had every right not to fill in random strangers or even family members like Carly, Laura Wright, and Joss Eden McCoy. But Willow then started making arbitrary decisions that would affect her children and their father, Michael Chad Duell. And that wasn't exclusively her call to make. Taken individually, each character we named had a dramatic reason for making the decisions they made. But altogether, it sure does start to seem like GH is suggesting getting sick is something to be ashamed of. And for a hospital-based show, that's not a great look. Liz Weber was worried Epiphany was disappointed in her recent General Hospital behavior, which was why the posthumous letter recommending Liz for head nurse meant so much to her. It meant a lot to longtime viewers too. As Monica said, it was appropriate to have a Hardy/March in charge of the nurse's desk. And for new viewers who were wondering what that meant, we've got your primer. Elizabeth's Rebecca Herbst. Last name is Weber. We recently learned he's horrible father is Jeff Weber, William R. Moses. Jeff was raised as the brother to Rick Weber, but his biological dad was actually revealed to be Steve Hardy, John Bernardino. Steve was GH's chief of staff for many years and was even featured on the show's very first episode 60 years ago. So Elizabeth is definitely a Hardy, even if that is not her legal last name. Steve eventually married nurse Audrey March, Rachel Ames. Audrey wasn't Liz's biological grandmother, but she was the Graham Elizabeth first came to Port Charles to live with, and the one who was always watching Liz's kids when she had more soapy things to do. So while Liz isn't technically a March, she is most certainly an honorary one, but Audrey wasn't the only March nurse to serve GH for decades. Her sister, Lucille, was actually the OG head nurse. Lucille, played by Lucille Wall, first showed up in the 14th broadcast episode and stayed for almost 14 years. Nicknamed Sarge for her no-nonsense demeanor, Lucille was actually all heart on the inside. She truly loved all of her patients and eventually got to play out her own love story, proving that romance can come at any age. When Lucille married and left GH, her sister stepped into the General Hospital head nurse role, and this is the legacy Liz Weber is now stepping into. General Hospital spoilers reveal danger on the high seas, bad news about bone marrow, a search for a missing person, and so much more. You won't want to miss a moment of this heart-stopping episode. Trina, Tabiana Ali, was not happy when Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, took a call from his uncle Victor, Charles Shaughnessy. Right in the middle of an important conversation at the nurses' ball. She decided she had to know what was really going on, so when Spencer left, so did she. Trina managed to follow Spencer to the haunted star and becomes as alarmed as Spencer when the ship suddenly starts moving. On Tuesday, Trina is determined to get to Spencer while also keeping her own self safe. She just wanted to know what Spencer and Victor were up to and never expected she would end up taking off for parts unknown on a boat that may or may not be seaworthy. She also never expected to learn that Spencer was there against his will. As for Spencer, it looks like he is about to learn exactly what his uncle has been up to, and it may blow his mind. Laura, Jenny Francis, is on hand to comfort Esmond, Avery Kristen Pohl, and offer her some answers on what is going on with Ace. Esme still thinks that Nicholas, Adam Huss, is the culprit, but Laura has to inform her she thinks Victor is the one who took her baby. This freaks out Esme even more because she never feared that Nicholas would hurt Ace, but is now convinced that Victor Will Jordan, Tanish Harper, informs Robert, Tristan Rogers, and Felicia, Christina Wagner, that everything ties together and Anna's shooting is directly related to missing big baby Ace. Nina, Cynthia Watrose, was beside herself when Maxie, Kirsten Storms, told her that her Aunt Liesel, Kathleen Gaddy, had vanished from a vanishing cabinet and never reappeared. She immediately thought of Willow, Caitlin McMullen, and her imminent bone marrow transplant. Liesel has to be present and healthy to have her marrow harvested, and now the procedure might be delayed. To that end, Nina takes it upon herself to find Liesel with any help she can get. Sonny, Maurice Bernard, is all over this case and knows if he finds Victor, he will find Willow's bone marrow donor. It's up to Nina to tell Scott, Kin Schreiner, that his schnitzel is missing and enlist his aid in locating her vanishing aunt. Surprisingly, Willow thinks of someone else when Carly, Laura Wright, and Drew, Cameron Matheson, deliver the news about Liesel and worries about how Nina might be feeling. General Hospital spoilers reveal heated confrontations, dangerous demands, and musical magic at the nurses' ball. You won't want to miss a moment of this exciting episode. Link, Dan Buren, definitely has a pattern with young pretty women with musical talent and immediately has his eyes on Jocelyn Eden McCoy after her nurses' ball performance. When he approaches her about making her a star, Jocelyn is understandably nervous and tries to get a persistent Link to leave her alone. Brooklyn, Amanda Seton, witnesses it all and steps right in, making sure that Link can't hurt Jocelyn the way he has hurt her. Blaze, Jacqueline Grace Lopez, and so many other women. Link is furious with her interference and demands to know what she is thinking. Is she ready to abandon that NDA, especially knowing she might not be as bound by it as she originally believed? It sure would help other women, as well as any hope for a relationship with Chase, Josh Swickard, now that Victor Charles Shaughnessy has Anna Finola Hughes and Valentine James Patrick Stewart right where he wants them. It is time for him to reveal exactly what he wants from them. He insists that Valentine has to obey his orders and issues more threats, as he tells Valentine that nobody will really be free of him until he gets what he came for. Valentine is defiant and won't give in to Victor the way he did last year when his father used Charlotte, Amelie McLean, as leverage. As the nurses' ball performances continue, a special musical guest is set to bring down the house amid much drama. After her encounter with Link, Jocelyn brushes things off and runs into Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, and warns him not to interfere with her life or hurt Trina, Tabiana Ali. According to Jocelyn's world, he has caused Trina nothing but misery. As for Trina, she has her own problems when she tells someone she must have been wrong. Finally, Gladys, Bonnie Burrows, spends her time worrying that Cody, Josh Kelly, will really tell Sasha, Sophia Maxon, what she has been doing with Sasha's money. That leads Gladys to make a sneaky move. Sasha tells Gladys that she never has to make an excuse to talk to her. But will her sneaky move prevent Gladys from coming clean?